welcome back to the channel. Josh and Brandy Helm here with Texas Best Construction. We're excited today because this is another tour video day. The weather is not really the perfect conditions, but the house is, so it's pretty exciting for us. Looking forward to showing you guys on the interior. But from the exterior, we've got a lot of beautiful things to look at when it comes to curb appeal. This one had some different shapes. We've got shop, we've got decorative porches. It's a beautiful gray, or charcoal, I should say, color on the roof and trim, and then a tan color on all the wall panels. But let's give them some of the interior description as far as the layout goes.
So we have a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. There's 2665 living square footage, about 850 on porches, and over 2,000 square foot of shop.
Yeah, and we should say that 650 square foot of that living quarters is actually an unfinished bonus area that is upstairs. That's not finished out, so technically our finished space is 2,000 square foot. A lot to see here. We got the vault, we got large shop space. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get it going. Starting here on the front porch, whenever you can, you do like to have a little bit of decorative design. I think that's something that kind of helps make a barndominium a little bit more attractive, add a little bit more design element. Here we've got an open vault over the porch area. You guys know, if you've been following us for some time, that we always have closed soffits. A lot of the reasons mostly is the aesthetics, so that we can have all that look really nice and beautiful.
And it looks complete.
Yeah, and we like to include the overhangs all the way around our structures. Not only does it add a little bit more protection, that's a good look for a residential home. Those are some of the benefits there. But here we've got a beautiful steel decorative opening for the gable entrance of this front part of the home. Now, this actual structure has two different sides that could really be the front. You could use the private porch side, or you could use this area here, which is more the accessibility area. This one leads right into our living area. So we're gonna go inside. Let's go check that out. So here we are. This is our large open great room, which in this particular build, we did not have our typical draftsman do the design on this. And a lot of times we will vault back down in a room like this, where maybe we can create a cathedral ceiling pretty easily. Here we had the full vault, which is great. You just got to make sure that you do have air circulation when you have the high areas like this, which in this case we have an 84-inch large black fan. Looks really nice. It's a windmill style. This should definitely do the trick for moving that all around.
Right, because we have a big space. We've got the kitchen is open with the main living room, and it's about a 32 by 19 area all included. The paint colors throughout, we have a Sherwin-Williams downy gray and a functional gray on the trim and baseboards. For the floors, we did a stained concrete that is just basically a chocolate blend.
When it comes to the color scheme, they went a little bit more medium on all of their colors, really, so there's not a lot of just super bright or contrast. It's more of a natural blend. For our entry door, we actually have a solid hardwood door that's like a naughty pine finish, I believe is what this is.
And it has a lot of black ornamental iron on it that looks really nice.
It's got this little eye hole for the viewing there. Somebody knocks on your door. So that's just a neat effect, but a lot of the doors now are offering that as well. So extending our vault that opens up into the kitchen space, sometimes we're able to have a little bit lower ceiling, but here our vault is completely extended. What is compartmentalized is our dining area, which is something a little bit different than what we're normally able to offer.
Yeah, so we have a designated space for your dining room. It's a great size. It's a 12 by 13, and I love that there's double doors that let in lots of natural light, and then even a window above.
Yeah, that's always great. And another thing, this leads off to a private porch. So as you can imagine, you're having some guests over or whatever, and you want to continue your entertainment out that way. So it's a pretty neat setup. So moving into our kitchen, we have a naughty alder cabinet here, which is a paneled doors. This goes up, it's 9 foot tall, which you got to cap it off somewhere, but this is actually really tall. Some people always think, you know, this is a negative thing to have tall cabinet. It actually works well. It gives you a lot of extra storage.
Well, I think you kind of need a grand statement anyways in a room like this with such high ceilings. You really need it. Otherwise, it's just going to look kind of scrawny. They use a Cannon gray stain on these cabinets, and they use a oil rub bronze on all the hardware. So that looks really nice. And for our countertops, they use a sapphire blue level 1 granite. They call it blue, but I really don't see a whole lot of blue tones in it. granite. It's really more of a taupe and some gray and some black fleck in it. So it looks really nice and it really complements the cabinets well.
Yeah, it also goes well with all of the tones throughout the home. And then we have the oil rub bronze accent here on the cabinets and a lot of space for countertops. So as you could imagine, just the setup of being able to maybe set out your buffet of food, maybe for Thanksgiving or Christmas. You could have all this space to do all that, and it serves right here off the dining area. So a really, really good way to have this set up. Moving into our island area, this is a 4x8 island, and you always want to think about compartmentally what all you can do in a space like this. Sometimes that means you could actually add additional cabinet space on the front, but here we're going to have bar space where they can actually have a little bit more room for the stools.
Sure, so you should be able to fit about 3 bar stools in that area.
Additionally, here we have trash drawer, and we also have, of course, your under sink space, and we've also notched out an area for our dishwasher here in the aisle.
And for the countertops, we have the sapphire blue level 1 granite again, and it's got the beautiful tones in it that really look nice with the sink. I like the black sink.
Yeah, so this is an under mount granite sink, and it's got a little bit different shape to it, but it kind of shows you the customization with the countertop, because you can see this is completely fabricated around
The shape of the sink. And it actually has like a high and a low, so it's got some dimension in the sink as well.
A little bit different.
Yeah, it's cool.
One cool thing about this is you actually have your water set on the faucet, and you got a pot filler, as well as the water is color tone. So you guys might have seen this before, but as you have your water running, it will turn red whenever it gets hot. So that's the idea. I think it'll show you when it gets warm, which is at green, and it's actually a warmer water. As soon as it heats up to really hot, it will actually turn red.
Which might be helpful for little kids. If they see that it's red, they're not supposed to touch it.
There you go. You don't want to touch it at that point. As you're running the water, you can have your garbage disposer with the push button right here into the countertop.
Yeah, that's actually something you kind of have to think about. When you have your sink in the island, you got to have a place to put your garbage disposal switch or button or whatever. Sometimes they put them under the cabinets, but I think that's a really nice way to put it.
You know, I like the idea of having the pot filler here connected to that. I think that works really well, as opposed to some people are always like to do a pot filler by the stove or not. But really, how hard is it, you know, to carry your pot right there?
Well,
so that's always a good question. But we also have a dishwasher in the island, which is right here, conveniently located here on this side of the sink.
We also have some nice pendants above. They're actually going for like more of an antique feel, an antique glass, and that also complements the chandelier that's in the dining room.
So conveniently located on the back side of where the sink is located, we also have our cooking area. This is a nice LG cooktop.
Yes, it's the ThinQ series on LG appliances. They've got a lot of technology built into these. So one thing that's really cool is like, so when you're cooking and maybe you've got your pots boiling and it's creating a lot of steam, your steam steams up your microwave door and even your cabinets above. So it's actually got this really cool little push extension, and it actually helps gather the steam.
So it protects all this from getting all stained up from whatever you're cooking, all these kind of things that help add some protection for the cabinet, which is really cool. I hadn't seen that before.
And all of the details and the controls are actually in the door. So that's actually kind of different too. I thought that was kind of neat.
Really nice LG product. Never had one before, but it looks like it's put together really well. So for the oven portion on the technology here with this ThinQ, you know how everybody's using air fryers now? Well, this one has that built into it.
Yeah, because usually the air fryers are pretty small, and so that's a large space to be able to use, so that's cool. One thing I really like is that they remembered to put some drawers next to the stove area, so you can put your pots and pans, cookie sheets, and things like that that you need for your stove. You got it right here, tucked away, and you can actually access them easily.
Additionally, we have a whole other wall of cabinets here.
Lots of storage space for sure. Be a great place for a coffee bar. You could definitely set some of your appliances on this side that are kind of out of the way.
To cap this off, we've got a refrigerator cabinet, which you guys know how we like to do this. We always put the finished ends to close that off. And we also do that here on the inside, because this is a good way to bank our base cabinets into this refrigerator area. Because you don't want to have your refrigerator right here up next and have a gap there. So it always looks really good to have all that enclosed in its own space.
And finished.
And it gives you a lot of upper cabinet storage up above these areas, which is really for all the things that you don't normally want to get up there and get.
All right, so this refrigerator is super cool. It's got some neat features that would be great, especially when the kids are home all summer and they're constantly got the door open, looking around, trying to find something. You actually can see into the refrigerator by just knocking on it. You can kind of see what you've got in there, and then you can turn that off. And one thing that is even cooler is it's got two different ice makers. There's the ice maker that has the small ice that goes in your glass, but then it also has a separate ice maker that makes
The
ice
ice
spheres. So you can put one in one of your smaller glasses. So you got the smaller ice and the ice spheres. So that's really neat. All right, the last thing for this kitchen is the pantry. So it actually has its own closet that's just here off of the kitchen, and it's got shelves all the way from the bottom to the top. So there's lots of space. We actually put in an electrical outlet as well. So you can put things in here to charge, or if you have some small appliances that you could kind of utilize this as a butler pantry as well.
It's really nice, and we actually made our light fixture a little bit bigger after we realized it wasn't quite bright enough. So additionally in this space, right off the pantry, we have quite a few things going on here, which we will go into the shop here in a minute. You had some ideas about remodeling this.
No, so there's a space here. Definitely you could maybe get a piece of furniture that fit right here. This could virtually be a mud room or a drop zone, and you could actually put some cubbies.
We do have a linen closet and an additional restroom here, which could serve your guests, or this could just be a great spot as you're coming in off the shop.
All right, so before we head into the master, we've got a nice sized laundry room with the same countertops as we had, the sapphire blue level 1 granite, of course with the uppers and lowers with lots of storage. And I love that they have a hanging rod here that of course we stained to match the cabinets. Obviously you've got place here for your washer and your dryer, and I really love that they have the in-wall vent. Definitely something that you can try to remember or think to incorporate into your build is putting your vent inside the wall instead of it having to come out, because then you have to push your appliances out. So this is a great sized room, and we'll head over to the master. For our master bedroom, we have a beautifully sized room. It's about a 15 by 18 in size, and we've got the same paint colors throughout, but something we did different in here is we've got carpet. So it really warms up the space.
And also we have 9-foot ceilings throughout in these areas with our standard window and door height of 6'8". Additionally, we have a lot of natural light in here with the double doors and the upper light that comes in over top of the door. So that's a nice touch. And you always want to have natural light, I think, in a master bedroom.
So outside of these doors, it is the private porch that connects over to the dining room. Be a great place to maybe put a hot tub or something like that, but it's a nice sized porch.
Right off the master bedroom, we have this huge walk-in closet. We've got dress storage back here on the back side with a lot of additional shelves. You have double rod hanging storage. We've split this in the middle with this rack of storage for shelving, and then more double hanging rod storage. And then on this side, more shelf storage. So much to offer here on this master closet. I think this is gonna work out great. What do you guys think about having the master closet connected to the master bathroom versus having it divided off like this? So going into the master bathroom, this is always a cool feature we want to show you guys, but nowadays the hardware on these barn doors is actually quite nice. We actually have this beautiful barn door. It's a naughty alder, and it's got the beautiful panel to it, but it's got a soft close feature to it.
And also, it's a soft open.
So that's a good touch, and like I said, they've stepped it up on some of this hardware, so I think it's really good. So in the master bathroom, we have this very large dual sink vanity with the undermount white rectangular sinks, and we have this trimmed out full-blown mirror. You know how much I like this, but I like to have large mirrors in the bathroom. I just think that's really nice. It helps also to reflect the light. And here we got natural light as well that's shining, so it makes it even better. And we also have these 3 bar lights that go up here on the top, which looks really, really good.
So across from this beautiful vanity, we've got a large jacuzzi tub for 2. It's got all the jets in there, and all the controls are here on the side. They surrounded this tub with an 18 by 24 inch tile. It's called Stovall Gray from Floor & Decor, and they use a complementing honeycomb pattern on the flat surface here. It also has one of the things I really like is the spray handle that actually pulls out, and so you can reach to clean all the tubs. Since you've got your faucet at one end, you can actually clean from the other side as well.
I think another thing thing about that, which is good, is it retrieves it into the tub. I know that's always a frustrating thing. You're trying to like do something with that hose from the spray handle. Another thing they did here is they capped off the window seal with the matching granite that we're using throughout on the home, which is always a good touch, but that'll work as well for putting something decorative or something up there in that window space. Now, the bathroom continues. We have a linen closet here, which is a lot of extra storage. And then we have our private toilet area right here with more natural light. So again, there's no dark rooms here. This is awesome. And this all flows back into a huge walk-in shower, which has more of that beautiful 12 by 24 tile. We've got the separate volume controls that are here on this side with an oil rub bronze, which matches really well. Additionally, here we have all these special accessories with body sprays. This takes a little bit more to coordinate with plumbing, and of course it's additional cost, but when you're doing this big open shower like this, why not have some extra features here? So they got the body sprays as well as the spray wand there, or the decorative ornamental wand, and then the gooseneck shower head here, or the rain head, with the bench here in the shower. On the floor, we have a flat stone that we're using here, which is really nice. Functionality wise, you can really access this volume control without getting in there. I think that's a great way to set up your shower. So that's what they did here. Sometimes you might have a second head, which could be on that side as well, but I think it works really good, and it's accented beautifully with this frameless glass that we're using here, and this oil rub bronze handle work for the hardware. So right off of our great room area, we have this private hallway, which leads to 2 different bedrooms, and they share a Jack and Jill bath, and also have a linen closet here. It works out really good when you're trying to set up a guest wing like this.
For our first guest bedroom, we have a 12 by 11 size room. We've got a nice window here and a nice walk-in closet, which has got some uppers and lowers and obviously some cubby space.
Pretty
so
roomy.
I like that.
And we also have carpet.
And I kind of like having carpet in the bedrooms. It kind of warms things up and dims the noise.
They do have ceiling fan in here. It's one of these retractable, as you turn the remotes on, it kicks out and spins out, sort of like we did in our Cossy Barndominium. We had those featured there. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool feature for sure.
So moving off of this first guest bedroom, we do have Jack and Jill bathroom, which gives you flexibility, so you could have your sink space. This is all the vanity here. We do have just one sink, which works well, and of course all of the framed mirror that's here, and a 4-bar light that goes up top. Some beautiful cabinetry, all look really awesome. And then here we have a private bathroom area. That way this can be closed off, giving them flexibility between room to room. There's a linen cabinet in here. We have some 12 by 24 beautiful ceramic tile with a soap box that goes into the space. Additionally, we have oil rub bronze features with the spray handle for having that as a diverter valve, so you can turn that on separately. I think this always works well. Brandy likes that when trying to clean the tubs and things like that in a bathroom.
And for our second guest bedroom, we have a 11 by 11, so it's a little smaller than the first bedroom, but it's a nice size still. We've got a nice double door closet here with the uppers and lowers on both sides and the cubbies in between. And I love the natural light in this room with the double window.
Plenty of closet space, which is always important to, I think, anybody. You definitely want to have plenty of storage space. And we also have one of those cool fans in this space too, with a lot of natural light. So that's what it's about.
So this is what all the guys have been waiting for.
We have a large open, over 2,000 square foot shop, and it's really got length to it when it comes to the depth, so giving you plenty of place to put like an RV. But wanted to point out something real quick. We actually have a hybrid electric water heater here. This is a great way to do it because it's got the heat pump, has a lot of high efficiencies, and helps save a little bit of money throughout the year. They obviously cost more money. You know, like everything else, when you go to variable speed, you go to some of these newer technologies, there's good advantages and there's always things that you got to weigh out when it comes to, obviously, if you had to replace this, it's going to take a little bit more money to replace it. So you want to keep up the maintenance as well. We do have a door that goes off to the back of this property, so that's another accessibility point from the back of the shop. And then over here, this was zip system, and we covered it with OSB plywood. This is just some additional storage under the stairs that serves this space. There's really nothing in here, but you can see the amount of storage we've got in here. It's a lot of zip system. The guys even air sealed all this in here. It's always nice if you could have got the water heater in this space, but it didn't really work out for the planning on this particular build. So in our shop areas, you guys know how we do this. We always use closed cell, and we have a little bit different framing that we do here because all of our framing is now standard metal building components in the framing method. So that's the hybrid steel frame. We've got steel frame intermixed with our wood frame. All in here, it's all steel. You'll see that we have horizontal purlins. Here we have some beautiful overhead doors, which these are commercial doors. And I always tell people, if you're gonna do insulated shop, you need to do insulated doors because it doesn't really make a lot of sense if you don't. Not only did they do the high lift, because this is an 8-foot door, but they also did the pitched components when it comes to the door going up high and with the slope of the roof. That gives you the maximum space when it comes to your big sloped areas in the shop space. On this side, I have a 14-foot door, which is huge. And the reason for that is so that they can back their RV in here, which you can see we've got the full length. I mean, this might be one of the deepest shops that we've built because a lot of times you're 30 or 40 feet. I believe this is like 50 foot from one side to the other. So really, really nice, and it's gonna give them a lot of room to be able to fit their RV in here. This is really like a bonus space, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be great storage, or they can finish it out, actually have a room up here.
It's all framed and it's ready. Now there are a couple things because of the nature of mechanicals. This was not planned originally to be this finished out space as far as our plans were concerned. It does give you a lot of options, like if you did want to have a loft or something like that, of course you'd have to change some of the ducting. There's a couple different options that you could do. Number one, you could have a flat ceiling in here and you could have got a lot of this ducting and stuff across that. But we were able to maintain this vault, which makes it really nice for this.
Yeah, it's huge.
This little bonus area. And you can see we had to get ducting across over here to serve like our downstairs area and all of that. Now, when it comes to our spray foam, we use a closed cell foam on the roof direct to the metal, and then we finish out with the open cell foam. That's really important because you're trying to have a thermal break to make sure you don't have condensation from the steel. You can also see that we use Advantech subfloor system. This is a great way to really be prepared to do whatever you wanted to do in an area like this.
You just put flooring right over.
Yeah, this is ready to be finished out. Got most all your wall framing is ready, other than like adding some additional framing or for fur downs or a way to conceal some of those duct pipes. But as you go into here and you can see our mechanicals, this is what it's all about. We actually did some special things in here I want to point out to you guys. So we had our air conditioning team. They came in and they put all of this together for us. We actually worked to try to figure out ways that we could get some of this interstitially, but it didn't work out on some of this. So we actually built a platform to where this could still be a means of egress. It's a little bit of transition there to come up and over that, but this is really just extra storage, but it looks really nice, and the guys worked hard to really keep all this neat and clean. You can see the components here. This is a beautiful 2-stage unit is what we're doing here with Carrier. And we also have a dehumidifier that we set up here, which is a Santa Fe unit. I believe this is the Ultra 98. I think that's the name of this. It works really well. We're able to pull in fresh air to dehumidify and to infiltrate that back into the main flow of the unit. That works really well. We'll get into more components with that because we're going to do a special video where we have this similar setup, but it goes further on our black gold Barndominium, which will be coming up in weeks ahead. And that pretty much concludes our walkthrough tour. What better way to end it than being out here on this private porch, which is super nice. This could actually face the front of the road if you wanted to with this particular design. We wanted to share a little bit more information with you guys because we always get bombarded about cost. So we'll kind of tell you a little bit of maybe an expected cost on building this hybrid steel frame Barndominium, pretty much the way it is. Now you can always do change orders. You can always do these kind of things, but for most of the things things that they did here, most of it stayed pretty close to being in budget with our standard finishes. There were some upgrades they did, obviously, with the mechanicals, HVAC, but a lot of the things stayed pretty on track. For this build, it's a 2,000 square foot living quarters with a 600 square foot bonus area that's unfinished, and a over 2,000 square foot shop, 850 square foot of porches. If you were to build this today, the relative cost for the moment with Texas Best in our build radius, I've always got to say that, it would cost right around $590,000 approximately to build this particular home. You say, well, it's a 2,000 square foot house. Everybody gets focused on that. It's also a 2,000 square foot shop. It's very large. It's insulated. That could be climate controlled if you wanted to. It's ready. Engineered foundation throughout. You guys know, if you're interested in knowing more about what's included in our standard finishes, you can watch some of our more update videos where we talk about that thoroughly. I hope you guys will subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more Barndominiums that we're going to be building. It's a really exciting time to be a part of the channel. Join us on the journey. If you haven't followed us, please do that now. I'm Josh Helm.
And I'm Brandy Helm.
Wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching.
Texas Best.